Okay, so as I said, we'll make the bottom part inactive here. So I'm going to drop a IBD configure. Press escape, trying to simulate that first frame. Okay, and then yeah, what we'll do is plug in the bounding geometry for this. So set this to bounding geometry. Oh, that's what it's already on. And then this last input we can plug in our geometry. So I'm going to get a sphere. Okay, set this to polygon and give ourselves lots of subdivision. And then we'll make it bigger. So it's 50. And then if we visualize the active attributes and then maybe template the sphere, we'll see what's going on. Okay, so green is active, black is inactive. So, you know, we want something a bit more interesting than that. So if we drop mountain, so up. Okay. If I no, yeah, we'll visualize the mountain in a moment while we work on this. So yeah, we'll want more height, bigger size. Okay, so we get some nice big lumps. So that's fine. Let's visualize that now. Okay, a bit more interesting, kind of spanning a few different floors as well, which is nice. I'm just going to move it over a bit. Something like that. Okay, so we get, you know, that kind of slope. I'm just going to put in the values, you know, specifically what I had before again, so we get the, so we all get the same result. Great. And then, so we had a lot of springiness in our kind of simulation, you know, so that's the soft constraint. So obviously we want them to break. So a couple of things that we can do to make that work better. So if we make them a bit softer, so they're not as springy, and then in here, if we come into the constraints tab and then breaking thresholds, you know, where we don't need a group, so we, you know, we've only got the one group of constraints. The name of the constraint is soft, and then we've got this on by default is distance threshold, so we need to drop that down. You know, a meter is quite big, so drop it to 0.1. Just still fairly big, but for the scale of the building, that's fine. Well, hopefully it's fine. So let's just check we got that active attribute working, and then let's see if we get something different now with that simulation. Okay, stopped it there, just got 200, almost a whole frame range. You know, it's definitely getting better. You know, we don't have that funny bounce at the beginning now. And the collapse down here is nice, the way it kind of travels down. I really like that, you know, it's going down like a wave, and we're getting some nice kind of, you know, I'm looking at these curves, you know, that's because of the soft constraints, but it doesn't look springy and bouncy, which is weird. You know, we're getting nice kind of sheets of concrete as well, breaking up, and then they kind of break and pour down here. So obviously the big problem is the top isn't breaking. We need, you know, at about this point, I want to see this top just kind of drop down and start collapsing as well. So we'll look at how to achieve that next.